right, good morning, good afternoon. Here it is, no makeup Dayna, no hair Dayna. So here you go, there's my pool. That's got us a little concerned. A lot of rain coming in tonight, tomorrow, and then it would go right in the house. Hey guys, thought I would just check in. Watching it, let's see, it's coming over this step right now. There are people that are not fine, and it's really, really frightening. If you need any help, let us know. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and we will do everything we can to help you. This is what Texans do. Go volunteer at a church, go volunteer at one of the shelters. It's overwhelming what everybody needs. Diapers, formula, water, food, cleaning supplies, gloves, masks, boots, helping clean out houses. We're all trying to help each other here, and I think we've made incredible efforts. We still have a long ways to go. Governor Abbott, if there was ever a time to use the Texas Rainy Day Fund, I would think 1,000-year flood would be the time. Look at this. Has it been 10 days, 9 days? How long has it been? Happy Labor Day. Can you believe it's been a week and a half, almost 2 weeks? We've been what, right at 3 weeks? Is that what we're going on now? It's all kind of a blur. 4 weeks ago. Can you believe that? Brian Babbitt, I know you'll see this. I know your people are watching every single thing I do. Where are you? Why are you not reaching out to Governor Abbott? If there was ever a time the Rainy Day Fund in Texas was needed, this is it. We the people will rebuild. We the people will figure out all of this, and we the people will succeed. Hang in there. We're going to do this. We're going to recover the 36. We're going to rock the 36. Have a good weekend. Bye.
We're just a couple of days away from 6 months since Harvey hit. They're still pulling debris out. They're still putting their lives back together. They still haven't put their lives back together.
You have people still living rough. Hurricane season's coming again. This is what government's supposed to do. And this is what Brian Babbitt's supposed to do. If you can't do that for your constituents, I don't really give a shit how you feel about the federal budget or the tax cuts or anything else. You let me down.
The federal money has come to the states. The state is giving the money to the counties, but there's no oversight. Nobody can tell you pretty much where the money's gone. There needs to be some sort of checks and balances to make sure it's getting to the people, because it's not.
It should be a bipartisan issue.
Right.
I think that the hurricane relief issue is a word of mouth issue that's going to make a huge impact. Nobody gives a shit if you're a Democrat, if you're going to get them sheetrock to rebuild their house. They don't care who you are.
Okay, because the minute we start, she's going to come in.
That's right.
That's
But
Murphy's Law.
That's okay. We need to get going anyway. So.
All right, so just making some notes here. Come on in. Come on in. What else needs to be done?
Oh boy, yeah, buckle in. Here we go. What do I do? Well, I get asked that a lot.
I guess I should stop eating first, and then I'll explain who you are. So Scott is better known to people around the campaign as Too Tall, and started out as my purse carrier right after he graduated from Ole Miss.
I think the informal term we've come up with is body man. I'm always with her. I'm always at events with her. Easy to spot. I'm kind of tall. She's kind of short, but I can always find her and she can always find me, and I'm good at carrying purses, business cards.
Scott's 24 years old. He just turned 24 not too long ago, but he's actually a 62-year-old man trapped in a 24-year-old body. We listen to music from the 70s and 80s, and he can spout off political facts from the last 60 years. So I'm convinced he's a 62-year-old man trapped in a 24-year-old body.
I do really anything and everything that's asked, but typically I'm always driving the truck. Dayna's never driving, I'm always driving it. I'm always driving her because it allows her to get a lot of work done.
Anywhere we go in the district can be anything from 15 minutes in the Seabrook, Clear Lake area to 3 hours up to Newton. We get out into the district, I've got a Verizon hotspot, I've got an AT&T hotspot, and there are some parts of the district, it's like, you know, trying to get a signal somewhere, so. But for the most part, yes, I do a lot of work in the front seat of the truck. I think we figured out I'm getting about 1,000 messages a day between comments, posts, retweets, emails, text, and everything. So if I go for 3 hours without answering anything, I'm going to spend another 3 hours just trying to get caught up.
Goodness gracious.
See, he's 24 years old. He just said, goodness gracious. He's 62. It's all a lie. He's like an alien.
I think I just have good taste. I think they can be
Well, of course you do.
mistaken for
You're
good.
working on my campaign.
I'd like to have somebody that is in charge of helping me set up field offices in the district. Because at least once a month, we're going to have a town hall in each of these areas. These are the people I want to represent. I want to start getting out there as a steel worker and finding out what do they do every day to put groceries on the table.
We're driving to Woodville tonight for about an hour and a half reception, just a meet and greet. We don't know if it's 2 people or 20 people or 100 people. You really never know.
Oh, I took down our sign we put there in front of the Vote Democrat thing. I'm surprised that little sign isn't riddled with bullet holes and stuff, just given the way people say they're threatened out here.
For a lot of people, they don't understand what existential fear Democrats have in places like Texas 36. It's not just, oh, I got into an argument at the 7-Eleven. It's somebody tossed a dead cat in my yard.
Given that they're marginalized, it doesn't mean they're always easy to find. Sometimes that can be challenging, but you go into any place in America, you'll find people who won't say that they're marginalized, but who of course are.
We all are up here and we feel like we're a huge minority because we live in a town of nothing but Republican rednecks. And I'm finding people coming out of the woodwork, same way that I feel that we're scared to talk before, that I'm telling them, get up, get out, get involved. There's a lot more than what you realize, but these counties have been scared for a long time.
When you have incredibly partisan gerrymandering lines, at a certain point, if you're a Democrat or a Democrat-leaning person, you just go, what the hell difference does it make? I can't change anything here.
There's a huge myth that Texas is a red state. The radical right has really pushed this so hard to the point that I think it's really beaten down a lot of moderates, independents, progressives, and Democrats to the point they don't feel like their vote counts. They don't feel like the government cares. So why should I even bother to vote?
I mean, I'm not saying I understand completely, but I know what it's like in places like this, where it's damn tough to be a Democrat. Bad things can happen to you if you're a Democrat. To make it okay for them to come out and vote, that's a test. It's a big test.
There's nothing, unique's not the right word, because there's obviously a lot unique about this district. You know, we're less than a mile away from the Johnson Space Center. That's an incredibly unique thing about District 36. But the concerns of this district are by and large the same as everywhere else.
The district is very big. It's 9 counties. We're going to Tyler County specifically, and the district itself is about 7,800 square miles. So that's bigger than the state of Connecticut. It has more people than the city of Seattle, the city of Denver. So it's a pretty big area. And once you get out of Southeast Harris County, it becomes a very rural, very spread out area.
But I'm used to that. My mom was raised in Tyler, Texas, good old East Texas red dirt. And I spent, most of my formative years in the car every 6 weeks driving up to see my grandparents and aunts and uncles and stopping in Livingston and driving through that whole area.
It's really pretty out here in the spring when everything starts to turn green and the trees thicken up. So this is where I start going back and forth between Verizon and AT&T, hoping that the planets are lined up properly. And perhaps I can get a signal.
Didn't pray to the right God this morning.
I guess I
need to try
didn't.
again tomorrow.
I didn't.
People are reflexively Republican down here. There's not a whole lot of, I'm going to check out that person's positions and maybe I agree with them and maybe I don't. And I'll make up my mind based on the person. Voters always say that, but in places like this, they don't do that. They look at the party affiliation at the end of the ballot.
We're going to the Picket House. Woodville is where the current Congressman, Brian Babin, lives. I don't think he's dropping by tonight.
I think having a recognizable name and a voice, people grew up listening to me. We had a really strong signal at KLOL, so it went all the way up into the district. I think it will open doors. I've seen it happen already. People that don't want to talk to me because I'm not a Republican, so they're not going to talk to me. But the minute they figure out who I am, it drops those barriers. I had a guy call me the other day, really irate. Got on your website, used to listen to you, can't tell if you support Trump or not. Once I hear your answer, that's how I'll make my decision. So I called him. Hello, this is Mark? I said, yeah. Who's this? I said, it's Dayna Steele. He goes, well, I didn't think you were going to call me back. I said, well, you left me a message. It's what I do. He goes, well, answer my question. I said, so I hate the MF. That was when I didn't watch my language. He goes, well, then we have nothing to talk about. I said, oh, honey, we always have something to talk about. We're human beings. Where do you live? And he goes, LaPorte. And I went, oh, my great aunt Gladys had a house. I remember going there. And I said, well, you know what? I'm just leaving a diner. I'm doing a thing on Saturday mornings where I try to come and have coffee with people. So why don't you get some friends together, find me a diner, and we'll get together and have coffee. He goes, well, it could get contentious. I said, Mark, those are the same people that yelled at me for not playing Freebird. And he laughed. So, are Mark and I ever going to agree on Trump? Probably not. But, we left laughing. And that's what you do.
And you hear this all the time. Why do people in places like Texas 36 vote against their best interests? Well, they don't fucking think they're doing that. And when you call people stupid, they don't like it. It tends to make them shut down the rest of your message a little bit.
I got some questions. Instead of saying you're against what's going on in Washington, I'd like to hear you saying, what are you for, not what you're against.
Okay.
One of the toughest things in politics is somebody has to look at you and hear you talk for the first time, usually in the first sentence or two that you're saying, and make a mental picture that I can see that person in Congress. If you can't pass that test, you don't get to have the rest of the conversation about your cool ideas and your compassion and all that kind of stuff. You have to pass that test. And I know Dayna's never going to be a button-down candidate, and I'm totally happy about that. I've worked with too many of them, and I've beaten a bunch of them too over the years. But we are going to have to stream her into a little bit more policy-oriented, a little bit more solution-oriented sort of mode here. And we're working on it. It's a process. We're getting there.
We need to have a message. We need to let people know what we're offering them. Not that just, we're pissed like you. That's not a good bumper sticker.
Right.
Because we need a message that isn't Trump sucks.
Right.
We're not running against Trump.
Right.
We are running to make Texas a better place.
I have a simple equation that I will build on as this race goes on. But I truly believe that healthcare plus education equals jobs. Healthcare plus education equals jobs. You can create all the jobs in the world, but if you don't have healthy, educated people, there's nobody to take those jobs. We're seeing that right now in oil and gas and petrochemical industries right here around us. They can't fill all the jobs because people aren't trained. We aren't doing that training. I was talking to a woman that runs a pro-life ministry in Polk County, and she asked me if I was pro-life, and I said, no, I'm unapologetically pro-choice. She goes, you know what, that's not even my concern right now. She goes, there are no opportunities for women here. I said, well, then let's not talk about pro-life and pro-choice, because we're never going to agree on that. But let's talk about the fact that there's no opportunities for women. What do you mean when you say that? And she's like, there's no education. There's no opportunities. What wakes her up at 3 a.m.? It's not aborted babies. She's just doing that because these women don't have any resources in this rural area.
The issues that affect District 36, first of all, poverty. It doesn't matter whether you're in an urban or a rural area. Poverty, homelessness, lack of access to affordable health care, if not free health care. These are issues no matter where you live.
One of the most surprising things I've learned about it is this district's 2/3 urban, which is not what you think when you think of down here.
We need to get internet out into the district.
There's poor cell phone coverage. There's poor internet coverage. The internet you do get is not all that great all the time. Businesses are closing. There is no growth. Turning all these areas into what used to be bustling towns in Texas into ghost towns. If we covered the area with public high-speed broadband, with internet that everyone could access, these people could teach themselves to code. Companies would bring business to places like Woodville because it's a great small town way of life. It would put money into the school systems and connect towns. And the way we connect towns now and the way we connect people now is not so much with roads, it's with the internet. And if you don't have the internet, your town is going to die. So.
We're only hurting ourselves as a country and as an economy if we don't decommodify the internet. And to make it a public utility, I think, is the economically responsible thing to do, in addition to just to the right thing to do. Because if everyone has internet, then you have a far more level playing field.
We literally keep people in the dark in our district. I was in Jasper last night, and I was talking about healthcare plus education equals jobs, my platform.
Hi, Shirley, Dayna Steele. I'm running to be your congresswoman.
And I said, of course, I support Medicare for all and education. And I just looked at the audience and I said, and what's the number one thing you need for education? And without missing a beat, the entire room, all together, in unison, the internet. How do we expect these kids to succeed when they don't have the tools they need? They don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have free basic internet access, they don't have devices. You cannot succeed in this world without a device, without internet access, without some sort of computer. Can you imagine writing an English paper, on your phone? That's what a lot of these kids are doing. It seems like such an overwhelming problem. How am I gonna fix it? And so our plan was to find these kids that are just really achieving, they're making great grades, they get to school every day despite just the most unbelievably harsh circumstances. Tell them, hey, your hard work has been noticed, here's a brand new Google Chromebook. And we've done about 225 laptops now, just one at a time, doing what I can to make a difference with some of these kids. And they're amazing, they're amazing.
Thank you.
There you go. Those are yours. Open them up. See what they look like. Okay, hardly anyone ever cries, and you're making me cry.
Thank you.
All right, we love you. You're gonna do great.
Thank you.
Anytime you give a kid access to the internet, you have crossed borders. You've crossed race. You've crossed everything and opened up a whole new world. My moonshot to cover Southeast Texas with public broadband internet accessible by anyone, anytime, for free.
See, now we're getting where even Verizon won't work. It's slowing down.
From a policy perspective, we're offering a different way to do things, a different way to represent this part of Southeast Texas. The other important part is that people have to know that we're on their side, right? We may not agree on every little thing, but this is to help as many people as we possibly can in the district. It's for the best of the district, for the best of the most amount of people.
We went to Woodville and back on Friday night. We went to Jasper and back last night, so we've been putting some mileage on the truck and on our bodies. And in these really, really red areas, they're excited to see us coming up there, and they're excited to see that, in their words, I'm not afraid.
Woodville was an area that we didn't feel like we would have a whole lot of support because that is where the incumbent lives. He's the former mayor. His family is there. His son is running for district attorney. And what we've discovered is, whether he's their neighbor or not, there's a lot of people that are unhappy. But everybody's been so politically bullied in Southeast Texas for so long that if anybody does speak up, their businesses are ruined, they're ostracized.
I have to bite my tongue continuously. It's gotten to the point where my brain, I can't wrap around everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I just want to explode. Well, you know what? I'm pissing people off because I have stopped holding my tongue. And I'm telling them how I feel about it. And I realize I'm not going to be supported here. I'm not going to make a living. So I've got something to say.
Be loud.
And I'm going to be loud about it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Now, what do you do here?
I'm a hairdresser.
I'm really glad you guys came.
I'll tell you what.
We have to come out of the political closet. We just have to keep speaking up and asking people, are you registered? Have you voted? Do you want to get involved? Because those are the three ways we're going to win this. I've started scaring young women everywhere I go. I'm probably going to be thrown out of a restaurant here eventually. But I will ask them, are you registered to vote? And they, no. I'm like, do you have sex? Yeah, they do that face. And I go,
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
no. But they look at me. They look at me and I go, do you use birth control? And they go, well, yeah. I go, honey, you better vote for me if you want to keep that.
That's right.
Vote, get everyone around you to vote. Donate your time or money, because again, we're a district that everyone has written off as not winnable. And I can tell you there is a buzz that is starting to happen. And it's a little buzz, but it is finally starting to happen that we have a chance.
But it used to be when your congressman or whoever became elected, they were elected for all of us.
And to listen to
Whether
everyone.
they were a Republican or a Democrat, they became that district. I don't know, but that's what's killing me.
We want to be represented in this area. We want a voice here. We want somebody to see what's going on. When we have a viable entity 15 miles down the road that employs almost 400 people, we want you to support that entity instead of using your emotional, religious views to put single mamas out of work. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for, and I'm running as a Republican. So this is against Lucas Babin for district attorney, but that's what we're looking for in Tyler County, is somebody who'll represent us and be a part of who we are.
It is not a democracy when somebody is scared to run against Brian Babin.
Are you scared?
Oh, hell no. And I gotta realize I'm not running against Trump. I'm not even running against Babin right now. I'm running to tell you what I do stand for and the things I see that we could do with Southeast Texas. We have a beautiful area. We need a new Silicon Valley in the United States. Just don't invite any of them in August, okay? We'll get them to move everything here and then we'll trick them. But no one's coming here. No one's bringing jobs here if we don't have a welcoming community, a community that has equal rights, and we gotta have internet, and we gotta have hospitals. Do you know you can't have a baby in Liberty County? I'd be scared to have a child in Texas. We have the number one maternal death rate, higher than 12 industrialized countries. And that's rich and poor.
In the United States of America, the fact that we have uneducated people, that we have children who don't eat anything when they go home, just stunning.
It goes back to the same three things everyone wants. They want free or affordable health care, they want education for their kids or student debt relief for themselves, and they want a job, a good, well-paying, secure job.
Those are the things I am for. I hope that answers part of your question.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear, I vote for the Democrat no matter who it is, I'll tell you that. I also have an economics degree, and that it's a wonder we get anything done in this country because most economists are Republicans. And
Yes.
so you never get anything done.
Democrats have huge flaws. We're dumb as shit in a lot of ways. We fuck up so many things, it just makes me want to cry sometimes. But we at least have a conscience. We, for the most part, want to govern in a way that is reflective of people's will, whether we like people's will or not. The Republicans in Texas have been the sort of poster kids for not doing that. The gerrymander is a complete expression of that. I'm not that soft-hearted a person, but I would be ashamed to look in the mirror if I had been responsible for that. It's just pure power.
So, we're small, but we're mighty. And, we just have to keep encouraging people to vote. Everywhere you go, ask people, are you registered? Are you registered? So don't get discouraged, don't get overwhelmed. Keep walking, keep calling, keep letting people know that they're not alone and that they don't have to be scared.
And the other thing about this race is that even no matter what we do, if we win or we lose, and we're planning to win, what we do down here is going to help Beto, it's going to help the gubernatorial candidate, and it's going to help really the big thing that we could do. It's going to help people be Democrats down here, which just, that's harder than you think it is. But we could actually help people go, yeah, I'm a Democrat. Tell their neighbor, yeah, I'm a Democrat. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Tom, are these new strings? Just making sure. Always let me know when they are.
It's not just, oh, I got into an argument at the 7-Eleven. It's, oh, somebody tossed a dead cat in my yard.